Evening people. Tonight I'm going to make tomato rissoles. Got some minced beef, some breadcrumbs, onion, got some homegrown tomatoes that I've stewed up, got some tomato paste. Very simple dish, very filling. Good simple dish, which is what I like, good simple dishes. So, start by cutting up the onion. Now, one onion is probably enough, but I thought I'd use up this other small onion as well. So I thought, especially if the outer layer of that wasn't the best. Oops. Strange weather we're having here in Portland. It's the last month of winter. I'm getting towards the end of winter, but today was warm. Walking around in a t-shirt. We had a warm, very warm northwesterly. Oh, super warm, but warm. You know, not the kind of wind you get in the winter. Strange. Very strange. Yeah, northwesterly. So normally your hot winds in this part of the world are from the north, usually due north. So to get one that was quite strongly west, like probably more westerly than it was northerly, odd, very odd. I'm not sure how that could possibly work. There's some kind of weird high pressure system out to sea or something. Don't know. I'll have to sit down and work it out. Anyway, I went for a walk around the back of the smelter. Beautiful day for a walk. Had a look at the gannets. For those who don't know, Portland is home to Australia's only, mainland Australia's only gannet rookery. I don't know why a colony of gannets should be called a rookery. Is it even called a rookery? I think it might be. Anyway, gannet colony on the mainland of Australia, the only one. And there's quite a lot of gannets there. And when you walk past, you know, you can see them flying across the ocean, diving into the ocean, catching fish. Very nice. And it was a lovely day for it. Lovely day for it. Alright. So we'll turn that on high, and I'll put some olive oil in the pan. I mean, probably doesn't have to be olive oil, probably could be any sort of oil, but tomatoes and olive oil, traditional, you know. A fair bit in, because why not? Fair bit. So I don't know what that is. Maybe 3 tablespoons, maybe. Right. Do I even need this? Probably not. Probably not. Time for a beer. Who's been to Miles? Anyone? Sure someone has. Alright. So, while those onions are frying, whenever they're ready to start frying, that'd be a good thing. Suppose I should have turned the heat on before I started the clip, I suppose. Now look at this. Lego's lid that you can't bloody get off. You know, the modern world. Why is it so hard to stick something to another thing with the right adhesion so that an ordinary person can pull it off? Look. It won't come. It's stuck on there like all fucking bejesus. Legos. And it's not only Legos that got this problem. Every bloody second company that sticks in that sticks a removable top to something, they always make, or nearly always, they make it so hard you can't get the bloody thing off. I mean, it's not so bad for me, I can find a way, but if you're an elderly woman and what are you going to do when you can't open something? You can't open the orange juice, or you can't open the milk, right? How often do you go to take the top off the milk? Because of course these days we're so fucking anal about health and safety that, oh, you've got to have a top on top of the milk. You can't just have a screw top. No, there's got to be a sealed thing. Really? Why? Why does there have to be a sealed thing? Stupid. I mean, just ridiculous. You go back long enough, there was none of that stuff. Used to buy milk in bottles, glass bottles is what we used to get it in when I was a kid. And admittedly they did usually have a metal foil seal over the top. But you used to be able to pull it off, you know. Didn't bloody stay on like this. Didn't stay on like that. Now what's happened to my, oh there it is. And then they brought in the plastic bottles with the screw top, right? And they worked. Plastic bottle, screw top, you unscrew it, you pour your milk out. It worked. But no, that wasn't good enough. They had to fuck it. They had to fuck it. And then they got this stupid idea of double thread fucking caps. What a godforsaken idea that was. What idiot decided that was a good idea? You know what I'm talking about? I use them in orange juice containers. I'm not sure if it's this one. No, it's not. Or is it? You can tell because the threads are really close together. And you can get lucky and you can get them on just right. But like that. You can get them on, you can cross thread them as easy as all get out. You cross thread them because that's naturally what will happen. And then they don't seal properly and you're not sure what you've done. You go to lie them down in the fridge. Like, I've got to lie this down because I don't have enough room in the door. I've got to lie it down. So if I cross thread it, it's going to leak. It's going to leak all over the fridge, right? What idiot thought double thread bottle tops was a good idea? It's not a good idea, it's fucking stupid. I mean, any engineer could tell you that. Why do you think bolts, when you buy a bolt, they're never double thread? Never. Why? Because you'll cross thread them. It's never done that way. Never, never, never. Except in the food industry. So it's a dumb idea. So someone has a dumb idea. Now please explain, why is it that everyone picks up the dumb idea? It's a dumb idea, right? Don't pick it up. Say, that guy's an idiot, we're not doing it. We're not doing it, it's stupid. But do they do that? No, they don't. There's no common sense. They go, wow! Oh, wow, I wish we'd thought of that. Double threads and on bottle tops. Whoa, man, that's awesome idea, man. People will really stuff themselves up with that. Let's make it. We're going to make it too. We want to be in on it. No. Unbelievably stupid. But you know, that's the world we live in. You know, when I was a kid, engineers would have gone, no, that's a stupid idea. People will cross-thread it. Stupid. It's stupid. It's not as strong, and people will cross-thread it. Anyway, I'm just going to take the onion out because it's done. And I'm going to fry the rissoles. First I've got to make the rissoles. I've got to fry them. So anyway, stupidity. My usual complaint. Stupidity everywhere you look. What can you do? Nothing. We're surrounded by idiots. Surrounded by idiots, and it's getting worse. Just going to put a bit of chilli in the thing while I think of it. But don't want a huge amount, just a heaped teaspoon. A couple of eggs. Always get a bit of egg white on your hands for some reason. Bloody protein, you see. Protein. Gets in everywhere. Let's beat them up. Give them a bit of a hiding. Then we put in the meat. I'm going to mix these with my hand, I think, so I might just take the watch off. And we'll take the meat out. There. Yes. So, idiot bloody Legos tomato paste foil lid. Insane. There's no need for it to be so bloody strong, you know. A grown man can't pull it off. That's how strong it is. Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. What do they think they're doing? They got no idea what they're doing. They're just fucking idiots. If you're listening to this, if you're by some amazing fluke, the dude from Legos who happens to design their tops, you're a fucking idiot, mate. Have you ever tried taking your own lids off? Fucking do it, cunt. And try to imagine the pain you're causing everyone. You should be in jail. But no, I can imagine what your excuse is. Lego's idiot. Your excuse would be, oh no, I have to make sure that occupational health and safety regulations are followed. We can't possibly risk the idea that a bit of bacteria might accidentally get in, you know. Maybe some salmonella will get into the tomato and someone will die from it and we'll get sued for millions of dollars. And therefore what I'm going to do is piss off 20 million people in the country every week. because of the 1 in 1,000 million chance that someone's going to die from a bit of bacteria that might or might not get into one of your damn tubs. Stupid. But you know, people are terrified of lawyers. Well, I can understand why people are terrified of lawyers. The most disgusting and evil people on the face of the earth. If you're a lawyer listening to this. Disgusting and evil people on the face of the earth. Believe me, I know what I'm talking about. You don't like hearing it, do you, lawyers? You don't like hearing how evil you are, but try asking a normal human being what they think of lawyers. Anyone who's had to deal with lawyers. Anyone who's had to deal with them knows what they're like. The worst people on earth. Lawyers, the worst. And you want to know what's wrong with this world? The worst people on earth, lawyers, end up being the leaders of the country. Now, go figure out how that works. I'm just putting some dried oregano in. Or as they say in Italy, oregano. Bit of dried oregano. Don't have to, it's totally optional. You can suit yourself. Just wash this a bit. Alright. Seems like every time I do a recipe these days, it ends up being a rant against something. Maybe, I don't know. A rant's entertaining? Leave a message in the comments. Tell me what you think. Do you like the rants? Do you want more rants? Do you want less rants? Do you want more abuse? More swearing? Less swearing? Do you like some intellectual commentary? Right, let's mix it up. Now you don't want to put too much breadcrumbs in this, so no more than a cup of breadcrumbs. Because although it seems alright at the time, the breadcrumbs swell up a lot, and if you put too much breadcrumbs in, you end up with rissoles that are mostly breadcrumbs by the time they soak up all the tomato. Speaking of which, I'll just turn the tomato off. You need quite a lot of tomato, by the way, so at least 800 grams, so at least a large tin. And you could even use more. You could go a kilo of tomatoes, no problem. Because the rissoles just soak them up. Like when you first mix them up, it looks like there's too much tomato juice and not enough rissoles, but trust me, that will change once they get cooking and they start absorbing all the moisture. Rissoles absorb all the moisture. If I'd been smart about this, you know, I would have probably used the Kenwood bowl and got the Kenwood mixer to do the mixing. And it would have been all over in a flash. A flash! But whatever. It's not going to matter. I've got a bowl that's just barely big enough. I just mix it by hand. Mix it in by hand. Hand is the best way to do it anyway, because you make sure that everything's properly mixed in if you do it by hand. Let's mix it in. Beautiful. Beautiful. She'll be right, mate. Couple of days. Couple of days. Yeah. All you fans of Con the Fruiterer, Mark Mitchell. Couple of days. G'day gentlemen, how are you today? You want to try some of this tomato rissoles? They are beautiful. Oh yeah, beautiful. Oh, Con the Fruiterer used to have his veggie shop next to Swinburne Uni, I believe, where I went to uni. I bought stuff from there. I don't remember talking to Con though, or if I did, he did. I don't know if I did, but if I did, he didn't sound like Mark Mitchell. I would have remembered, I think. Anyway, whatever. So what we do is we've got our mixture, eggs, breadcrumbs, mince. Molto bene. Now I'm just going to cut it into 8. Wash the hands. Get my favourite knife. My favourite knife is made in Brazil. Can't remember what the name of the knife manufacturer is, but Brazil. So we do a binary chop, right? Cut it in half, cut it in half, cut it in half again. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. So you get 8. They don't look very big, but they will be big once they absorb all the tomato juice. They'll be big. But the first thing we do, oh my god, my fault for talking instead of paying attention. That's probably alright. No, she'll be right. She'll be right. I'm never perfect, by the way. Never perfect. I just do the best I can. It's usually good enough. So it's usually good. Occasionally I make a tragic mistake. Occasionally. Not very often. But it does happen. Like the lemon cake, man, that was classic. Classic butchery. Butchery of a great recipe. Well, that's what happens when you sing the block of hash, you see. Right. Just wash the hands again. So it's really simple. Really, really simple. All I've got to do is make sure that the damn camera doesn't cut me off. Oh, I've got 6 minutes. I've got 6 minutes. So all I'm going to do is just fry these rissoles a bit, just to brown them. I'm not trying to fully cook them or anything. I'm just going to brown them, and then I'll put them in the dish, the casserole dish, with the onions, stir them around, and I'll throw the tomato, the stewed tomatoes on top with the tomato paste. Oh, we need a bit of salt, so I think maybe I'm going to put 2 salt spoons of salt in. Bit of salt, and I'll probably put some pepper in, probably quite a bit of pepper. Good pepper grinder, that. Very good. Second best one I've ever used. It's worth really looking for a really good pepper grinder, because most pepper grinders you find, don't worry what they look like, how do they work. And you should better test them out in the store, and you should better grind them, and you should grind a nice fine pepper grind without a lot of effort, and it should just be easy and smooth, you know. If you've got that, you've probably got a good pepper grinder, and you should be able to adjust it easy, so you know, adjust the size of the grind easily. You'd think they would all be great, but they certainly are not. Like most pepper grinders are no good. They're just no good, like everything you buy today, you know, most of them are no good. There was a Nong, some would-be scientist in Australia, giving their thoughts on the most important things in life, and one of them was, it doesn't matter which model or brand you buy, they'll all be good. No! What an idiot. What a stupid thing to say. What a mind-bogglingly stupid thing to say. All models are equally good, or approximately. I think their attitude was that, oh yeah, sure, one's a bit better than this, and this is a bit better there, but overall it doesn't matter. Wrong. Wrong. Completely wrong, you know. There's models that are just garbage you do not want. They will make your life a misery because they won't work properly. They'll never be any good. And there's others that will be good sometimes, and other times they'll fail. And then there's the very few that will actually be really good. And every time you use them, they'll work properly. And you'll go, wow, I'm glad I bought that. This pepper grinder is like that. It's really good. But you know, you let this person review it, he probably wouldn't have noticed the difference. He probably would have said, oh, no, they're all the same, mate. It doesn't matter, mate. Oh, this is just as good as the Coles one. No, I don't think so. I want to give these a nice brown colour. You know, it goes really well. Once you cook them in the oven, they come up really well if they've got a bit of brown. Bit of brown. As I've mentioned briefly before, the stainless steel fry pan is great, but it does stick. It does stick. That is a problem with it. So if you're frying things, it's really not the best. Anyway, before the camera cuts out, I'll just turn it off and I'll turn it back on when those things are browned. Okay, I reckon that'll do. So I'm just going to toss these in here. And I'm going to pour in the tomatoes. Pan was hotter than I thought it was. It was fine. It's all good. I'm just going to have to clean this. Just going to have to give the stove a once over. But you know, that's cooking. This shit happens. Shit happens, mate. Get over it. Get used to it. If you can't make a mess, don't go into the kitchen. It's not a bad mess. I've made much worse messes than that. I think the worst mess I ever made in the kitchen was the night when I decided to heat up the motorcycle chain. I've got this motorcycle chain oil, but it was a special kind of, it wasn't your normal motorcycle spray lube. This was it came in a big can, and you heat it up on the stove, right? You heat it up on the stove, put your motorcycle chain in it, the chain would get all coated in this super, because it's hot, it would get in and it would coat the chain and stay on, you see, it wouldn't come off. Once it cooled down, it'd be really solid on the chain. It'd still work like lubricant, but be solid on the chain. Anyway, put it on the stove. This was a share house, right? It was a share house, and there were some women living there, and when I went to pick it up off the stove, it just had a band across, right? I picked it up and the whole thing just tilted over and spilt this super viscous motorcycle chain oil all over the floor of the kitchen. And of course, as soon as it cooled down, it was set really hard, you see. It was a bastard to clean up. My God, what a mess. I made some other good ones too, but that was probably the classic. I think that was the classic. Alright. So we just pack these in. I mean, this is a really easy dish. Easy dish. Like, some of my dishes are really easy, and this is one of them. So as to how much of this dish did I invent? How much did I invent? It's a modification of the Rissoles recipe from Cookery the Australian Way. Good old Cookery the Australian Way, the Bible. I mean, not that I follow it, or I don't follow it anymore, but some of my recipes are based on its recipes. Not all of them, some of them. So this is one that I based on Cookery the Australian Way. There it is. In there we've got meat, eggs, breadcrumbs, tomatoes, tomato paste, onions, fried onions, and chili, and oregano. Fantastic. In the oven with it. In the oven it goes for moderate oven, 45 minutes. So I'll be back in 45 minutes after I've cleaned the stove, and I'll eat it. Yum, 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 yum. Time's up. Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. Alright, look at that. Look at that steaming, the steaming magnificence of Mr. Mars's tomato rissoles. Check them out. Maybe I'll take a photo. I don't know which photo is going to be better. So I'll take a photo in the pot. The steaming magnificence. Photo in the pot. Now we'll put some, I'm going to have 2 rissoles. So I'll put 2 rissoles out. You always want to have plenty of sauce, because the sauce really makes it. And as you leave these rissoles, as they sit if you're like me and you're just cooking for yourself, after they've been sitting for a few days, they soak up more and more of the tomato. And they've got less, so they don't have as much you can put on top. Anyway, it's still good, but at least in the beginning you want plenty of tomato on top. Right, so then done. Now I've got some pickled beetroot here, which is out of my garden, and I've just got some semi-mashed spuds. They're not actually mashed, they're just kind of broken up, and I've got some butter on them, butter and salt, the essentials, and they'll go really well with the rissoles. So let's just get a photo. Might come around the other side. Got to find a nice, oh yeah, now we're talking. I think that should make a good thumbnail. Should make a good thumbnail for this. So, without further ado, slice in the rissole, cut it up a few times. Get some tomato on it. Really simple dish. Really simple, and you know, for a cold night in, not that it's super cold, but it's not exactly warm. For a cold night in, great. And the chili comes through and adds to the warmth a bit. Might get a bit of spud, bit of homegrown spud, bit more rissole. It's not sensational or anything, it's just a rissole, you know, not sensational, but just hits the spot, you know. It's home food, comfort food. Not going to set the world alight with this one. Not going to set the world alight, but when you want something warming in the winter, nice and soft and tender, taste of meat. There's also the taste of the breadcrumbs. Maybe I should have gone, I think it would have been better with fresher breadcrumbs. The dry breadcrumbs aren't, well, the dried breadcrumbs are great on Parmigiana, you know, or Wiener Schnitzel. But maybe for inside a hamburger you want less dry. I think if I'm doing this again, I'll get some that are less dry and less fine, you know. I mean, probably the ideal would have been to whiz up my own breadcrumbs in the blender. Probably would have been the ideal. Maybe I'll do that next time. So that teaspoon of chilli is just nice. Gives a little bit of bite, but not too much. The onion's really good. Of course, the tomatoes make it. The tomatoes absolutely make it. So you want plenty of tomatoes, and make them as the best tomatoes you can get. These are out of my garden, so you know they're as good as you'll get. So it's hot, it's warming, it's filling, got the tangy tomatoes, you've got the zing of the chili, the breadcrumbs give it body. Over time those breadcrumbs will soften, like tomorrow they'll probably be quite soft. At the moment they're soft, but they're still a little bit breadcrumby, you know, just a little bit. So, you know, it's not a Michelin star job or anything, but it's a great thing to have on a cold winter's evening. Have yourself good old down home tomato rissoles. And easy to make. You saw how quick easy it was. You know what rissoles are like? They're like that. If you like them, I don't know if you make yours like this, but this is the way I make them. And you know, they hit the spot. They really do. So if you want to try it this way, try it this way.